Well, I guess I've been on a stream for about 340 minutes. I didn't even think I started that stream. Well, hi guys. Jesus, Murphy. It's been 4 minutes there. I'm like, why do I got concurrent viewers? Oh, man. Yeah, I'm still here. What the hell? I don't remember starting the stream. I know I started my OBS, and then I was just editing the description. Okay. I'll have to remember to put that in my description later on. Holy crap. People are going to see this video and they're going to hear silence for 4 minutes and think, oh, hey, something's wrong. But anyways, yeah. What's up? June 12th, 2021. I was like, what the hell? I'm looking at concurrent viewers. I'm thinking, how the hell have I got concurrent viewers? I was like, holy shit, oh man, I'm live. Okay. That's nice. Got the drone out today. I was quite happy. Wanted to do it last weekend, but it was too windy. So, the first drone I kind of lost in some crappy grass. But yeah, we got it out today and saw some interesting stuff. Got yeah, the usual. Well, we saw the CP train. I didn't take that, but Did a little bit of yard footage at Port Robinson. What do you call it? The usual 562, 531. Actually, I got them in a meet. Caught 562 in Port Colborne. Brought a couple transformers. That was a little odd. I guess you have to have a buffer car when it comes to transformers, and I'm not too sure why. Now, it could have been the overhang, but I don't think it was. So, these are some awesome shots. I enjoy these shots. And this kind of goes to the title of this video. I don't know. I don't know if it's the drone. I don't think it is. I think this long occurred before the drone. But yeah, actually it has. It has. The drone's only enhanced my appreciation for following the prototype. I still love logistics. It's my career. Logistics has always been part. I shouldn't say always, but it's always. Shouldn't say always, but always. Yeah, oxymoron. For a long time, it's been part of my career. It has been the driving force behind RTS. In the Run 8 days, it was the driving. I mean, it just kept me going, and it was so easy to have those goals, and the programming was fairly straightforward. It wasn't too involved. I knew I wanted. I never experienced multiplayer up to that point. I was already actively trying to get things into multiplayer. So what this is about is the prototype versus the simulation, and I wanted to talk about this tonight because it's kind of weird, because one of the things that Emmett and I will be talking a lot about. He's definitely has a different interest than me. I can tell you that right now. He is heavily into trains. Now, the funny thing with him with trains is he builds all these routes, but he never really runs them. But trains is great for building routes, so that's why he likes it. And I mean, he'll run it, but he's never been one to really run something. But yet he loves the logistics too. There's a lot about the logistics he loves. I can tell that. So, but he has more of an artistic side to him. He loves building the routes. He really enjoys that, and I don't expect his experiences to be like mine, or life experience either, obviously. So it's interesting because I know there was a time in my life where I could play a 2D simulator and be excited to play it. I could play Microsoft Train Simulator and be excited to play it. I could play Siam Simulator and be excited to play it. I could play UK Train Simulator. That was one of the first ones, and be excited to play it. Right now, there's not a train simulator on the market that I'm excited to play. I know that for a fact. People have asked me, say, well, why don't you put up a server, or why don't you do this? And I'll tell you, there's times where I think about it. But the best part about that is I have a technique that I call basically it's not simulating in your mind, but it's basically going through the phases and going through basically not role playing, just thinking in your mind what it's going to be like, what a certain situation is going to be like, and how you're going to feel. And how you're going to feel about explaining it, and how you're going to feel about presenting it, and how you're going to feel about just enjoying it. I can tell you right now, my son and I right now, we've all of a sudden we have found, uh, of all things, and I never expected this to happen. All of a sudden, it's just like, out of all the things that we have picked up over time, like different programs, we've gone back to a program that we've had, and that's the what do you call it? The American Truck Simulator. And suddenly, there's a huge interest in it. I don't know if it's improved or what. I know they've had some upgrades. They're at like 1.40. They've had some lighting upgrades. Um, I just, like, tonight I was driving for a little bit. What happens is it's really cool because my son will play his profile when I'm at work a lot of times after he has his schooling. I love this picture too. I love all these pictures. I love the images that I was taking today. I'm looking forward to seeing. I haven't taken. I'll do that tomorrow, and we'll do that in a live stream tomorrow night, but or tomorrow evening maybe. I loved going back in here and seeing the different tank numbers, and Emmett jots down. Emmett likes jotting down the chemical numbers to try to figure out what chemicals are going where and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm interested in that kind of thing too. So we were getting ready for the Inco run, or the Inco Vale, which is kind of two companies that converged, and the tank he brought along didn't have a plat card on it. I thought that was kind of weird. I thought, okay, I thought, like, maybe it's an empty. I don't know, whatever. He had a tank car, and then he had two transformers. I'm thinking, what the hell's he got two transformers? And I saw them in the yard because we were flying around. One of the first flights I took in the new drone was to fly over Port Robinson, take a look, and yeah, it was neat. I was like, wow, there's like two transformers in there. I hadn't even mentioned it to Emmett because I was going to later. I figured he'd see the images. I didn't expect those transformers to come out. I knew they were separated, which should have kind of set the alarm right there, but I was thinking more it was probably going to be a Trenergy thing, which really should have raised an alarm bell, because no, Trenergy ships the transformer. But then I thought, well, maybe it came from Trenergy, maybe it came from Trillium or Port Colborne Harbor, and it was going to head onto one of the main lines or something. But it was already separated, so I thought, that's kind of weird. But then all of a sudden he's asking for a light for the Humberstone spur, which takes him down to Inco Vale and Port Colborne. I was like, what? And Emmett knew it. He predicted it, actually. He saw the way the engines were configured, and he said he had a funny feeling that thing's going to Port Colborne. And sure enough, it did. So he was right on that. I didn't know what the hell he was doing. His power was separated, then he went back into the yard, and just like, boom. So it was cool. But we enjoy doing this. I look forward to this every Saturday and Sunday. I'm looking forward to a lot of things, especially him and I. I got my vacation coming up. I guarantee it's going to be, yes, we're going to travel and we're going to enjoy exploring. We like doing that too. But the thing that we love to do the most is get the ATCS monitor on, go find the trains. We're really looking forward to it this year because, I mean, we've already been out with a drone you saw the pictures of that one bridge where you had the via and the thing, that's at Belleville. So we've been there, but that was towards the end of last year. That was relatively close. Things have just opened up with this whole COVID situation, I guess you want to call it, or whatever. So things are starting to open up now. It looks like I'm taking vacation in July, very end of June, beginning of July for the first week. So I haven't booked anything. I'm waiting to see what the hell's going on before I book anything first. But we haven't planned the trip yet. I originally was going to go up to Sudbury, so that looks promising. But as you can see, 100%, I have no doubt in my mind that I love trains. That I love going and watching prototype trains. What was interesting about this, and I've always been like that. I've never been one who's all of a sudden stopped liking trains. And I don't know how many times I go across Niagara and see the same trains again. I don't know what it is about it. If I get bored of it, I just change scenery a little bit. Head down to Toronto or something like that. When we head out in July, we're going to be going to some place that's totally different, and it's going to be cool. We have lots of fun down there. Niagara is interesting for me, and it's kind of weird because the activity's not nearly as high as other places, but for us, it's familiar. It's routine, but it changes enough, and it's interesting enough, and you get surprises and stuff like that. I can't even explain it. I mean, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the what the cars look like, or just getting a drone up and taking nice shots. Like, I used to never care about photography, to be quite honest, until I got the drone. And it wasn't about photography. The drone was all about me going in, trying to find more information about places so that I could use it for trains at the time. That didn't last. I got fed up with trains. I shouldn't say I got fed up with trains. That's probably. I'm more of a perfectionist. I wanted the yard to be a certain way. I really wanted to be able to go in, and I think I've mentioned this recently another week or so ago. I wanted to be able to go in and modify the heights, which kind of led me to thinking that, well, then I just have to build my own simulator. Well, that's easier said than done. But then I thought, well, if I start real basic, like I said, I can do it on plywood. I can do something like that. Okay. There was a time where when I was younger, maybe I had more imagination back then. I don't know. That could be the issue. My son still likes model railroading. I know that. I can tell you I'm not that interested in it anymore. I really don't have that much of an interest in it. It's more of a curiosity. Signals used to be a huge interest to me. I mean, they still are, but I'm more interested in the prototype than I am trying to model it or do anything with it, or even dispatching. I used to enjoy dispatching with Run 8. I don't miss it that much. If I missed it, honestly, if I missed dispatching, why didn't I ever get back into TD3? Because I didn't. I haven't been into TD3 since I was back into Run 8. I think I don't think I've touched it this year. I may have to try to see if Emmett was interested, which she kind of was, and then just giving him an idea of what it was like and stuff like that. Yeah, just giving him different ideas. But trains was the one he caught on to. When I got trains and he's very addicted to trains. He creates all kinds of routes, and he does proto-lancing, a prototype. He does all kinds of stuff based on, and he does a lot of research on this stuff. So he tries to model it. I guess for him, he's he just has fun with it. He doesn't have, as far as these massive standards or whatever the hell it is. I'm not trying to downplay what his standards or anything, but he doesn't overthink, which is probably something I've been accused of. But so yeah, the last time I was interested in something, like really interested in something that was presented. Now, I shouldn't say that. I did get NIMBY. I thought that was kind of interesting, so I did get that. That was for me. It's garbage. My Emmett still plays around with it. NIMBY is, I don't get it. You're just basically creating. It was kind of neat, the concept. Oh yeah, you build routes on a realistic 1-to-1 ratio land, and and all this other stuff, and you build your own routes and simulate it. You're limited in so many different ways, and then it's just you got these double track lines all over the place. That's just like, nah, it doesn't simulate anything. It's cute. It's neat that it's on real maps and all that stuff, but it's not a real network. No. It's just not. It's just hey, if you like it, that's great. Good for you. Uh, American Truck Simulator is my thing. I still been running it. I haven't been. I have not been live streaming it. I put the thing out there. I got a couple people that were interested in it. Not enough to bother live streaming. I have more fun talking with Emmett, or Emmett talking with me. The only time I play is when Emmett's around. I usually don't play on my own, which is interesting because I kind of lost my own little edge, so to speak, or I've kind of felt like I got these couple of hours, like after 9 o'clock at night most evenings. When we're not doing anything between 9 and 11, he goes upstairs, and I have the rest of the evening. So that's why I went to a live stream tonight, because I knew I had a lot on my mind. And this is one of the things. And I talked to him about it today. Emmett was saying, well, you got to get back into simulation and find what you're missing, is what he said. And I said, I'm not missing it. And I says, there's no simulation out there that to me is going to drive me. There's nothing out there. There really isn't. Put it this way. And I mean, there was at one time, there was, and maybe it could be because I haven't played it in so long that I forget what it's like. You'd have that hunger, I had it for trains for a little bit, but it was more of an idea like, okay, do I care that much about the simulated fact, or do I care that much about the physics? The answer to that was no. Physics has never been a major issue with me. Do I want the physics to be realistic? Absolutely. Does it a game breaker? Not really. What interested me about trains was the AI, and building your own routes, because I thought to myself, okay, well, if I just build something and I build it, easy enough, whether it's on flat or whatever, I build something and I slowly add scenery to it. This was the idea I had. If I slowly add scenery to it, eventually I can number one, I can operate it right from the get-go. Like I said a week or so ago, I said I used to be able to operate a model railroad on friggin' plywood. And I didn't mind doing that, because the imagination would take over the logistics and stuff like that. It didn't matter if it was, on an 8x4. I mean, don't get me wrong, an 8x4 became old real quick. So I wanted to expand, and then eventually I got to a model railroad club. I enjoy the model railroad club, but I have no interest in going to a model railroad club anymore. I thought about doing it kind of, for Emmett, but then I thought about the money and the travel, and just like, no, I don't want to do that. It's not for me. I've never really been into the creating part of the hobby. The only thing I've been interested in is the electronics and the logistics. Those are the two things that drive me. Having the electronic circuits. Well, the club that I last belonged to would be the only club I would go back to. Already has a guy who's doing a signal system now. I wanted to do it when I was there. For some reason, I couldn't get any motivation for it to be done. There was other things that needed to be done or something like that. Along came this, guy who was a little bit better and knew what he was a little bit more qualified to do better electronics than I was. More experienced because he's professional, as opposed to me, which was just hobby, and quite frankly, I was outdated as well. But I still had ideas. And it seemed like anytime I had an idea, whether it be getting into this, writing computer code so that, we could have a car forwarding system, they still use card cards. Nobody ever got a program or nobody ever bothered. I could write a program. They never utilized me for that. And I said, I can do that. You tell me what to do, but I guess they like it well enough, or who knows, and just like, so I didn't really bother. I didn't really feel I had a place. I wasn't going to build. I wasn't going to craft. I wasn't going to buy a bunch of cars. I already bought enough cars. For me, it was just a big waste of money. Which is why going into virtual rail was much more economically viable. The thing with virtual rail, and I think the model railroad is very good on the detail. They're very good on the details of the models themselves, or they can be, which is appreciated. And the artistic side, you can get very detailed. And having it visually in front of you is much more appealing, I think, than watching it through a screen. I think. But I have a nice big screen, and trust me, I've played Microsoft Train Simulator, Run 8, even, and I've raved about what do you call it? I can't even remember the name of it right now, which is crazy. Freight Yard Manager. Freight Yard Manager wasn't an eye candy. It was all about the operations and the ability to run a hump yard and all the other stuff. I think I appreciated the relaxation value of running the hump yard and being able to let automation take its place. I enjoyed the automation. And I wanted more automation. I wanted to be more of the role of a yard master, or be more into the role of like being the role of a yard master, or something that would put me into a relaxation mode where it wouldn't be too challenging. And I think when I go back to the last time, just switching back to American Truck Simulator, the reason why I got out of American Truck Simulator last time was I found driving some of the routes for long periods of time was not fun. Now, with Emmett and I driving, and the fact that we're not on the computer that much because we go out quite a bit, so we have a couple hours per night, let's say, or evening. Like we had an hour each this evening, and we're playing music in the background. We're not worried about doing live streams, so I mean, copyrights and all that. So we're just streaming music in the background and driving down. We got this amazing scenery, and I did a nice paint job on my truck tonight. With some of the DLC that came with the one pack that I got for the West Coast. And I think, no, not the West Coast, I think it was the Northwest. But anyways, it was really cool. So I had this new paint scheme, and I'm getting close to like I already got 3 drivers. I bought a new trailer. Like what happened was I bought a tank, and it ended up being some food tank or something like that. I'm thinking I want a chemical tank. I was like, why can't I have a chemical tank? And I'm like, okay, fine. So I had 100 and I think I had 100 and yeah, I had 140 some odd $1,000 sitting in the bank, and I thought to myself, well, wait a minute. I've got that much money. I can upgrade the garage. But then I thought, well, and this is the thing about. I think this is. I don't know if this with me about getting older or what it is, but I'm not that. Um, I'm not that quick to make a decision, or I'm not that quick to commit to something anymore. So I think things through a little bit. And this goes with, you know, playing out in my mind how things will work. And I'll tell you something. I was thinking about RTS. I had been thinking about RTS for weeks. I couldn't get it out of my mind. And now suddenly I'm actually prepared to put it to the side. And this is a weird thing, but I've always had that. So it's a weird thing to say, well, yeah, I'm thinking about putting it to the side. I'd love to be able to simulate what I see on the screen here and make it look reasonably good. And think, okay, well, it's just eye candy. Why do you need the eye candy? It can be a good simulation, and it could be that. And yeah, that's true. But do I really? What do I like about trains? Do I like running the trains, or do I like watching the trains? And I think it's I think it's the latter, the watching the trains. That's what I enjoy doing now. It isn't about running the trains anymore. I've run the trains enough. You do it enough times. It's not that, I shouldn't say it's that hard, but I mean, yeah, Run 8 has its challenges and services, breaks, and all that. After you become skilled enough to do it, after a while, it it really you get good at everything. Same with driving a truck in American Truck Simulator. You got to learn how to back up properly. It's an art to back up a truck, and it's very difficult. I find it's very difficult to use my right mirror when backing up. What I usually do is I usually try to force my way out so that I can go to the left side and look out and basically look out my window. Sure, I can use the mirrors. I don't know what it is about the mirrors. I've always had a difficult time using the mirrors. That's in driving real, not transport trucks, but trying to use mirrors when I'm towing any type of trailer on a vehicle or whatever. I've never been one. I like using the mirrors in a car. That's easy enough to do a mirror check on both sides. But when you're in a truck or something big, it's a lot further away, and it's hard to pick up that perception. I'm all over the place, so which is cool. Uh, well, you had to start it because I got the notification. Yeah. I started it. I'm sure I did. But I didn't know what was going on. I'm glad Quincy's here. Quincy's seen me give up thinking. Quincy keeps saying I'm going to get back into Run 8. You think I'm going to get back into Run 8, Quincy? Come on, Quincy. Tell me I'm going to get back into Run 8. It's been how long now? How long has it been? It was last year. I got the rail driver. It took a while for me to actually unplug the rail. The rail driver sat here for a while. I was putting my snacks on it. I was using it to mount my webcam, which I don't use really that much anymore. And It's no, it's I'm looking right at it right now. It's on a shelf. It's just sitting there. I might even sell it. I'm not going to sell it yet. I don't think I'm that committed yet to sell it. So, yep. As in, you what? You think I'm still going to get back into Run 8, huh? I think I'm the furthest away that I've been from train simulation in a very, very long time. I really do. So much so that, and I know this is my audience. This is it's scary. It really is scary because my channel, Sean Merle RTS. That's all I've ever known. But what have I been doing? I've been in survival game. I've been playing around with survival games. Now I haven't been in the survival games lately. That doesn't mean I don't like them. I do. Um, Subsistence is one that I will go back to. Subsistence isn't perfect. I'm not too much on this whole. Okay, you're in a survival game, yet you have hunters who are coming out to attack your base and all this other BS. And just like, okay, that's stupid. And then overly aggressive animals and stuff like that. I'm just like, no, there's other ways to survive without having to deal with that kind of BS. Um, so yeah, there's a simulation involved in it, but a lot of it's not really more. It's more entertainment than simulation. Let's see here. Yeah, but you've said that a long time ago. Version 3. What? Moving bridges? I don't even know what's in version 3. And I'll bet money on it. Okay. I'll bet money on it. What do I got that I can bet? I got money. That's not a problem. Um, I'm sure I got something. I got. I've been trying to give away my race wheel. That's something I never got back into. I tried that. I tried the iRacing. Somebody, yeah, I think I mentioned on Train Sim the other day. I said, yeah, because they were talking about steering wheels or something like that, and I said, hit me up privately if you want. I got my steering wheel and pedals that are pretty much brand new. I got the original box and everything on it, and it's sitting there, but I can't even see it. It's in a box. It's like way out of view. The rail driver I don't have the original box for. Um, the rail driver, I mean, it's given me a much more space here. I've got two nice little tables here now, so it's nice. Um, I like it that way. I think it's cool. But no, this is where my mind. I was telling him today. I said, I said, number one, I wouldn't even try to do anything like an American Truck Simulator. First of all, I don't think there's much you can improve upon it. The only thing I would improve upon American Truck Simulator, and there's already mods out there that can do it, and that's one to one. There's not that many mods though. One to one is tough because once you start going one to one, I mean the amount of time it takes for a team to develop these regions, let alone little old me who knows diddly squat about graphics and 3D modeling. I mean, I could probably 3D model a cube, but I haven't really done that. I was here today. I was over off to the right. Didn't get to see him there, but yeah, Niagara changes every day. But no, this Jaeger's just off to the right. I saw 531 meet 562. So yeah, the trains part. It's not about the trains. I love trains. I could talk about trains. I could show trains all the time. As far as running trains, like I said, yeah, version 3 ain't gonna do jack shit if it ever comes. If it ever comes, I don't think version 3 is coming, and I don't think the other things that are out there are going to hit it. There's no market for it, quite frankly. I'm telling you, it ain't gonna matter. You're going right back. It does. You're saying I'm gonna go. It doesn't matter what version 3 is. I'm gonna go right back in it. Why would I go back into version 3? Put it this way. Here's the difference. When I was in version 1 waiting for version 2, I still played version 1 all the time. I was looking forward to version 2. I couldn't wait for it, but I still kept playing version 1. I had fun with version 1. I enjoyed switching. I enjoyed doing some of the multiplayer stuff. Hell, this was before AI. And AI changed everything, because once AI came in, that suddenly made it much more it became much more real. So right away, suddenly, you didn't have to worry so much about having a full server, and that was the one thing that I was battling. If I'm not mistaken, I gave up my servers just before version 2, if I recall. I started giving up the RTS server, and that was when I gave up the RTS server. I was going to focus. I think I was going to focus on the Southwest. I was doing something else. I don't know, or the Southeast, I should say. I was even looking around in the Northeast. I think I considered late last year. I considered. I know what I was thinking. There was one time where I saw the operation at. What do you call it? I saw the operation over at what do you call it? Damn thing. I don't know. Is the quarry or whatever the hell the damn thing is? Not boron. Lone Pine Branch. I remember seeing some videos on it. Again, prototype. Prototype is what inspires me. Even a week or two ago, I was out watching trains, and I was like, I'd love to make this happen. And this is the thing. Oh, I'd love to make this happen. Oh, I would love to make this happen. When I see something like this, and when I look at the bridge and I look at this, I was like, oh, I'd love to make this happen. I may not get there, but it's just like, oh yeah, oh, I would love to make this happen. So there's the thing. So I look at a scene or I look at an operation, and it's like, oh yeah, oh, I would love to make this happen. I remember saying that to Emmett. It could have been even last weekend. This was when, keep in mind, last week I was still thought about RTS all the time. I can tell you what I was thinking about doing, and I might as well just spill all the beans and say what I was going to do. There was numerous projects that I was considering. I was still developing my craft. I still am. I haven't stopped programming. Unity's still there. In fact, I have plans for Unity. I'm not done with Unity. I keep saying to myself, I hate programming. I don't enjoy programming. I just enjoy playing, and I do enjoy creating, and I do enjoy achieving results. I was getting quite a bit of results for trains there for a while when I was getting Niagara developed. So that was cool. That was a fun achievement. Then I got to Port Robinson, and that was when things started. The reality started sitting in, and it was a huge roadblock that I could not overcome. And that was, how do I get it the way I want, and be able to expand upon it without having to destroy everything. Once I was settled in, and I think one of the worst things that and my instinct told me not to do it, was to get into the dem stuff. Because once I got into the dem stuff, I had the taste of what it was like. Before that, I didn't give a rat's ass about the dem. I didn't care. I didn't care about the heights. I was happy enough to have the line and just do the other stuff and just let it go. And, imagine whatever the hell it was. As soon as I knew what the dems were, and as soon as I knew what the heights were like, I had to have it that way. I had to have it exactly how it looked. And I knew if it didn't look right, I would always be pissed about it. Especially when I knew it wasn't exactly, I knew I could prove it upon it. So I was stuck on that. And it was probably one of the last things that kind of got me away from trades. All of a sudden, I lost my interest in doing it. I was just like, okay, this ain't working. And I really didn't get back into trains that much. I'd probably get back into trains just to run it around, I suppose, but it's way lower in the totem pole. It's just way too much fun stuff out there. There's so many different things. I mean, it's just no. Like I said, I enjoy the trains. I mean, the reason why I flew overhead with these things, a lot of the overhead flights and a lot of the angles, this was all about trying to get it to develop. But I always wanted to have that. I wasn't worried about getting every little nook and cranny graphic in there. I was trying to find a way to capture what I felt in the prototype, the same feeling I had, or the same interest I had in the field, or in the simulation, I should say. And that's where somewhere the disconnect happened, because I was like, okay, now I'm on, so I'm into the simulation side of things, and I don't miss switching, I don't miss dispatching. I'm like, well, wait a minute. If I don't miss switching and I don't miss dispatching, what is it that you're trying to do? What is it that you want to do? And I was like, nothing. I like train dispatcher. Train dispatcher is the best train dispatcher thing out there. I enjoyed dispatching. There's a big difference, though, is once you have a taste of something, and once you're a part of something, and it becomes as quote-unquote as real as it gets, whether it be Run 8 or whether it be the multiplayer or the environment that you were part of. Like when I was in Run 8 and I was just running trains around by myself and watching trains go by, the thing that killed me for Run 8, especially the worlds that I had, was just sitting there watching these friggin' AI trains going by back and forth. I'm thinking to myself, why am I watching this ridiculous eye candy that's really not doing anything? I can't get the AI to do what I want. I have to micromanage every aspect of the friggin' railroad because this thing is so friggin' huge. Give me a smaller region. If they gave me a smaller region, I might consider it. I might consider it. How long have they been talking about doing smaller regions? I don't know, forever. If I wanted a smaller region, well, all I'd have to do is do something in trains, right? I'm sure there's stuff out there. I haven't been searching for it. I'm not like, ooh, like I go to Train Sim. I go to Train Sim. This is what I do in train sim, and and it's just like, damned, I'm late to the theater. Oh no 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 no! It's so. Oh, Scott was late again. What's your reminder? So work. I need lots of artillery clogging butter though. I got nothing bad to say about anything. What this is all about is I've come to the conclusion that I enjoy the prototype, but I've lost my interest in simulating the prototype, and it's a real weird situation. It was such a habit that RTS was just such a habit. RTS was part of me, and you're committed to it, so you're just like, yeah, your RTS is my baby, and you want to save the image, and you want to save everything about it, and it's just like you don't want to give it up, and yet here you are, you're looking forward to running friggin' you're looking for. I mean, have had tastes of it for a long time. I'd be wanting to like look at my channel. You look at anything on my channel. I'll show you. This. You want to know what I'm interested in? This is what I'm interested in. Watch this. Okay. I don't know what that is. I guess that didn't change from that. Okay, that's my truck. Well, that's changed. Oh, I forgot to change my... I got this stupid truck. Oh, well, whatever. Okay. The little Trolls thing. Trader Life Simulator. Well, that lasted for a little while. That became boring. Railfan recap. Happy Victoria weekend. Quick update. I don't know what the hell that was. Disaster. That was my drone going over. Starting over. Yeah, RTS Vision. So I'm still thinking about it. I'm still trying. Here's what happened about a week ago, and I'll tell you where it ended. Where I finally came to the conclusion, it was like, and this little thing here, that little screensaver with the dispatch boards. My son says, "Well, why don't you just do that?" He thought it was pretty cool. So I have his vote of confidence. I wanted to build a CTC board. I wanted to build a CTC dispatcher. I've already got most of it going. I have a pencil I left in the car today. If I want to go back to it, I could. I still may do it. I don't know. He thinks I should start something. Start something small, get my confidence up. I kind of felt the same way, and then I thought, well, wait a minute. No, I don't need to, because I don't have any ambition to do that. Do I have ambition to do other things with Unity and all that other stuff? You're damn right I do. I'm looking into what do you call it? I'm looking into flowing water. I'm looking into particles. I'm looking into possibly space simulation. I was looking into ships. I even kind of mentioned that on the train train sim the other night. I was looking at the ships, but really I thought about ships and I thought to myself, yeah, but that would be kind of boring. So, I mean, yeah, it's cool, I know about it, but yeah, it would be kind of boring. So, RTS, so I have all these dreams like 2 months ago, and, I go to Alex Alas Creedman. So, yeah, there's the first screenshots I had of... the little daylight thing going. I really lost interest in that real quick. I was like, it just wasn't it. So I'm doing Lumberjack Dynasty for a while. I go back to it. Dyson Sphere, not into right now. I'm really Long Dark. I was playing that the other day. We were playing Long Dark a couple weeks ago. Some of the things you see here, it doesn't necessarily reflect what I'm doing. This I'm doing all the time. I'm doing this every day. My truck doesn't look like that anymore. I got a nice black paint scheme with little logos and all the stuff. I got a trailer. I got a 53-foot trailer of my own tonight. I got 4 trailers, 3 crew members looking to change the garage around, blah, blah, blah. That's where my passions are. This is where my passions are. I love flying the drone. I am so happy to have that drone back today. It sat around for just over a week. I had it a week from last Friday, or a week from last Friday. Let's just say 8 days ago. So I got it 8 days ago. The replacement. Downloaded all, just made sure everything was updated, all the software today, put it up, everything flew great, first test, whatever. Love flying around this yard. The thing is, okay, would I love to do a train simulator that is automated, that has a lot of automated ability to it, where I can just step back into any role? Yes. But in order for me to do that, I have to be able to get to an aspect where it at least has a roadmap to get to something that looks this good. I'm not saying it has to look this picture perfect good. It doesn't. American Truck Simulator doesn't look this good, but it looks pretty damn good. And that's because there's really good assets made by people who know how to do assets. I don't know jack shit about doing assets. And I really don't want to take the time to learn and do the assets, because the assets aren't, I'm not as big into the assets right now. I am into the gameplay aspect, but here's the things with Unity. What I can do, and I'm pretty sure I can do it right now, Unity has built-in functions where it's very easy to create a landscape. Very easy to create a landscape, very easy to pop some assets. I was into the asset store. It's much easier to find assets like trees and buildings and all kinds of other crap that you can find in the asset store, a lot of them for free, than it is for railroad assets. Trying to find track that curves, that was the big one. It's just like, okay, well, you can get this modular track. I'm like, yeah, okay, great. I want to have a choo-choo set? No. Splines is another thing, but splines don't work the same way as in trains. Trains, I like the way the splines work. Unity, I cannot figure out for the life of me to get it to work into a spline, so that I can get the meshes to spline up. I think Scott would know about this one. Well, maybe he would, or maybe he wouldn't. I'm not too sure. But as far as curves in meshes, being able to get a custom, like say for example this track here, being able to get this custom curve here like this, and to be able to model it as a, not only what they call a like a mesh. So you have your 3D mesh. It has to be 3D because the rails, the way I wanted to do the physics on this thing, I wanted the rails to literally act like rails. I don't think any simulation, I don't even know if Run 8 does it, to be quite honest. I don't know what Run 8 does, to be honest. It could just sit on top of the rails. I'm not sure. I wanted the rails to actually run the physics engine to actually allow the wheels to flange against each other, so that if you went too quick or you went too fast around a curve, the lateral motion would actually flip the car off. You could flip the train out in a sharp curve. Kind of like Derail Valley in a way. I like how Derail Valley does it, because there's some, I don't know if it's physics based or what it is, but it's really cool. Now, am I really interested in playing Derail Valley? No. I mean, it's cool and all, but I have no interest in playing Derail Valley or any of the other ones, or Run 8. And Run 8 version 3. What does Run 8 version 3 got? Let's see. I've heard movable bridges, turntables, and I don't know. You tell me what's in Run 8 3 because I haven't got a freaking clue because nobody talks about it. Anybody know what's in Run 8 3? I don't know what's in Run 8 3. Anything I'm missing, Quincy, Scott? Anybody still here? Or they want me to ramble? Or I don't know. You guys tell me. What's in it? I mean, run it. Put it this way. Okay, you want fireworks? Fire. You want me to shoot on Run 8? I'll shoot on Run 8. I mean, if people like to tune in because I like to shoot the shit and tell them, I mean, here's it'll be ready when it's ready. It'll be ready when it's ready. Yeah, I'll die when I'm ready to, I suppose too. But hey, none of it. Everybody's getting older. I mean, I'm 49 now. It's like, okay, another year. That's great. It's like, I mean, I love shots like this. I love being able to see. You see so much more from the drone. So that's renewed my appreciation, I think, for the whole 3D landscape and what it's like. I've never been one for taking pictures or taking video that much. In fact, I haven't. I took a little bit of video for a while, but I was never really into that. I don't even post this stuff on YouTube these days. I mean, other than I don't bother going into the editors and playing around and making a nice fancy video to put up on YouTube. I'll be on tomorrow night. I'll fast forward. I'll show you the videos I have from the weekend. Talk about the prototype. Talk about some of the adventure over the weekend. I'll have another live stream tomorrow. My son might be with me at the time. I don't know. Depends how early we got back. We got it back fairly early. Saturdays seem to be not as busy as Sundays for some strange reason. I don't know why. Sundays CP picks up. You're dead on Saturdays for some reason. I don't know. Maybe CP actually has a different daily schedule. I really don't know. CP's hard to predict, but they have a lot of short trains. They had the only CP train we saw. I didn't even bother taking the drone up. He came coming out of Welland Yard today, and he passed by us as we were coming on the one road. We were expecting him, but he was supposed to call the dispatcher once he was starting to pull, and he never did. So you give the border patrol some warning or whatever. But yeah, he was like 30 cars or some stupid thing. This is a mainline train for Buffalo. You got to be kidding me. But that's CP. They're not that interesting. Even if it had a different engine on it, I was like, okay, fine, I'd see it. Cool. I don't know. I mean, I watch it. It's just typical cars. Yeah, that's cool. I'm looking but I look forward to getting into different areas where I haven't been, places I haven't been. Via Rail's coming out with new equipment next year. They're coming out with European design. If you go to Via Rail's website, check out the new. I think it's Siemens. I think my son said it was similar. Siemens was similar to what's on the Northeast Corridor, but I'm not sure. But it's not electrical. It's not an electric. It's still diesel. But Train Sim World 2 and Run 8. Yeah, that would be a nice combination. The Run 8, I'd even throw trains in there. I would throw the ability to edit in trains to a certain degree. I mean, they say trains is a great editor. It's the best out there, but it's not as good as It's not as good as being able to create your own route from scratch, and probably what Run put it this way, Run 8 has a lot more control over what they can put in their route. Just I don't know what their editor is, but I got a funny feeling they can basically manipulate any asset they want. Whereas when you're playing around in an editor and trains, that's where things get goofy, which is why I enjoy putting it in Unity, because with Unity I can move anything I want when I want, and I can put an algorithm and just plop it all, and yeah, it's fun. What's happening? Just typed a novel here over the 200 limit, said, you should have copied and pasted it. I always copy and paste if it gets too big. Did you still have it, or did it if it's still there, it's too bad. That sucks. I like novels. I write them. Quincy's quiet now. Come on, Quincy, convince me. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong, please. Quincy thinks I'm just gonna go right in for. I can't wait for a Run 8 version. Put it this way, I haven't been to Run 8 site, and I think I was there a few months ago. I guarantee you. Let's go to Run 8 site. Yeah, let's do it. I bet you nothing's changed. Nothing's changed since last year. I almost guarantee you. Are we gonna get excited? No. What's the latest press release? Wow. So we're like a year and a half ago. Hey,
Runny's not dead.
oh shit.
Runny's not dead. He'll be ready when it's ready.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know. I don't think they want anybody's business. Or they're too busy, or they got their own personal problems, or they're too busy getting their ass kissed by everybody on the Run 8 Depot. Who knows? I have no idea. I don't care. About us. Anybody change here? Yeah, they got hired. Oh, yeah, we got the same people, and some of the ass kissers, and a few other people. Yeah, that's nice. Very nice. Cool. How's the community doing? Has that changed? No. Wow. Is the crossbuck even doing anything? Oh, that's just like information or some horseshit. Any events on the calendar? No. No. Okay. Wow. Oh, Jesus. How's Train Sim doing these days? I go on this all the time. Let's see. Is there anything new on Train Sim today? I'll go to the forum. Let's see. Hey, we got general. Hey, rolling line. Scott's posted. There we go. Okay, that's cool. Guy's got 220 messages on here. What you got, Scott? Was that your last mess? Was there anything else I missed? I don't think I missed anything else. Yeah, the Saxon bags are cool. Now you're going to town on the assets. You need to teach me how to build assets. At least maybe that would inspire me to do something. But over several nights, turned out a pair of props go alongside Frank's updated Santa Fe layout with other Volkswagens. Got me thinking about summer heat, hot set country, beach boys, etc. Anybody's cool. It's cute. What's that? It's like a antenna back there, or oh, that's neat. Cool. At least Scott's doing something. Anybody else doing anything? Got the guys down under bitching about anything? I don't know. Going on talking about Australian rules football. Let's see. No, there's nothing going on there. We're on trains, nothing. Run 8 Run 8 General. Let's see. The last one was. Oh yeah, the Curious About Run 8. Here's a post. I think I was one of the last posts on this, or I was the second last. Oh crap! What are you doing? That ain't what I wanted. Okay, go back into the Curious About Run 8 thing. I'm frustrated with open rails and the problem. Oh yeah, and now you're curious. Good luck, buddy. Seagoon. Oh crap. Okay, that was the last page. Very nice. So, oh yeah, we started talking about books of travels or something. AI was a huge help with version 2, but eventually it can only do so much work. For me personally, TeamSpeak and social events was not the reason I enjoyed multiplayer. I've got to look at Derail Valley. So I'm thinking about Derail Valley. I know I thought the thought crossed my mind. They were talking about Derail Valley. The reason why I wanted to look at it was kind of get ideas for my own stuff. If you have never been to the ocean, do not try to describe it. Get Run 8 and judge for yourself. Yeah. True. I wouldn't call Run 8 an ocean, but yeah, whatever. Oh, hey! Lots of stuff here. Okay, I got novels. I like novels. Let's see here. 1021, this is good. You're struggling from within, Sean. I too seem to be in that boat at the moment. I like American Truck Simulator. I can tell you that right now. I'm having fun. I put it this way, I am not bored right now. The only time I get a little bored is between 9 and 11 p.m. and that's because I don't want to burn myself out with American Truck Simulator, so usually it's something I do only when Emmett's around, because Emmett likes watching me drive and I like watching him drive. And he runs his profile, I run mine. I enjoy actually just doing shotgun with him and looking at the scenery, because there's things that I miss because I'm too busy paying attention to the road. So I've come to appreciate it more. It seems that none of the games really holding my interest. Yes, I'm totally opposite of that. There's a lot of things that are holding my interest. And if they don't hold my interest, there's a lot of good stuff out there. Put it this way. Even that Trader Simulator, it doesn't hold my interest long, and it's not so much that it doesn't hold my interest. I could get back into Lumberjack. Lumberjack, it could be easy to get bored with it because it's kind of repetitive, and and the thing about Lumberjack is once you get to a certain point, it becomes very boring, and I think Trader Sim is going to be the same way. It ultimately gets pretty boring. Rolling line slipping away. Here's support. RTS, just reading your comment below stream. Considered to shrink, been there, done that, late in life. Second half for copy paste. Can't say of help as they never provide answers. If you ask the example, what do you think, field doctor, the shrink will turn around you saying, I don't want to shrink. I wanted I don't need a psychiatrist. I was talking about a psychologist. Well, Sean, what do you think? There'll be lots of help. Don't worry, I'm not going to see a psychologist. I'm not that gone. Thanks anyways. Oh yeah, this was it was too hot today. I want to get back. I got friggin' 5 batteries now for my drone. So what happened was, I of course, because about 4 miles this way, my old drone is hiding somewhere. I laugh about it now. It's like $600, $500 Canadian, whatever. But I want to get up to that thing, but it takes such a freaking walk to get up here. Now the weather's starting to get humid and the bugs are out, and I'm like, ugh. No, I can't do that. So I do want to get back up there though. And the fall's going to suck because the bees are going to be around. I can't stand bees. Emmett's already had an encounter with one this year. I think I did too. Well, he got stung. I didn't. The bees get aggressive in the fall. I don't like the bees. And there's all kinds of weird other bugs hanging around. Yeah, this shot's okay, but it's kind of fun. All these engines are all sitting over at whatchamacallit now. I can't think of the name of the place. It's over. It's about it's off of this yard over to the one industry. I have other pictures out there for it, but yeah, that's not so inspiring. But yeah. I'd like to see ATS include passenger position. Yeah, I was thinking that the other day. It'd be kind of cool. And the multiplayer is coming along apparently. It's in a. I think what's happening is, from what I understand, the multiplayer is in a kind of a. It's in an experimental version. So I haven't opted to the experimental version. I'm in the stable. I'm not worried about it yet. But I think what it is I think there's something called Convoy or something like that where you can run with 8 people. That doesn't really appeal to me. I don't know how you... For me, to do it would be either... Like, how do you do multiplayer with American Truck Simulator? Like, how do you really benefit from that? It's like you're in this whole friggin' world that's too scaled down as it is. Now I understand why it is, and the way they're expanding. I mean, I don't have Colorado yet. I just got we just got to Idaho. I got a 53-foot flatbed the other day. It's my 4th trailer, even though I only have a 3-person garage. You can't get chemical tanks in that damn thing, too. At least I can't. Maybe I'm only at level 20, so. But you can't get chemical tanks. But I thought, 53-foot dry bed, like the little small short rinky dink ones that I had, they weren't getting anything because you have to expand them. So I just decided, like, I had 100 and some odd thousand, and I just thought, okay, I'm going to get myself a brand new 53-foot for myself, because one of my drivers, he was off to some far distant state from my base, and he wasn't going to be back in any time soon. Now, yeah, I could reserve the trailer for myself, but he was making a lot of money, and I noticed that. I mean, he was getting a lot of dynamite and stuff like that. I'm like, and his logs were showing he was like making $8,000-9,000 a run. I thought, oh, that's cool. The only thing I can't stand about them is when they come back and they always come back to the same freaking, they always go back to the base. They go from the base to someplace, and this is only a minor pet peeve. It's not a game changer, trust me. They make money, I don't care. As long as they make money, I don't care. I enjoy driving. That I enjoy more. The business aspects is just like icing on the cake. I think the business aspect is it's pretty good, but I don't think it's 100% realistic. Nor I mean, the driving, I from what I can tell, it is. I've never driven a truck, so I'm like, okay. When you hit things, sometimes you get damage. The AI drivers, sometimes they're kind of realistic, and other times they're just stupid as hell. Like, they're just overly stupid. They do a lot of stupid things. Sometimes they're very extremely courteous too, and they'll just all of a sudden you just come close to them, and all of a sudden they'll stop. I'm like, nah, I've never seen a driver do that. But anyways, but But the passenger position, yeah, you could tag team with Emmett. While he drives, you'd be riding shotgun, snapping your camera. Yeah. That would be kind of cool. Um, that'd be really cool. Where's Quincy? I thought Quincy was going to convince me. He's probably put him to sleep. Come on, Quincy. Convince me I'm wrong. So yeah, I'm all for ATS. Um, I'm also. This is something now that I'm like. Here's how my. Here, I'll try to take you to the thought process. Okay. There's my car here. This is where I park in Port Robinson a lot of times, and I'll fly up over here. And here I'm just watching, various. Actually, this is a guy coming back from. This is 562 coming back from. He was running. Yeah, that's right. He was running Long Hood Forward, coming back a few weeks ago, I think. It wasn't that long ago. It was summer. We started in this, or spring, I guess. We haven't had summer yet, although it feels like it. But here's how my process works, and this is the way, and this is where I think the maturity has come in. And I don't know. Maybe when people are younger, they tend to be more impulsive. So what happens is, and don't get me wrong, I will make an impulse purchase from time to time. uh, I have had buyer's remorse, minor buyer's remorse. But I will. I mean, Alex, The Lost Kingdom, I had fun with that for a while. I don't even know why it's still on my desktop. It has potential, but it only has a limited shelf life. So it is fun. There's a lot of these things. Hey, here's my theory. When I purchase one of these games off of Steam, if they're under $20, it costs me $20 to, and this is Canadian funds, keep in mind. So we're talking much less US. Not much less, but less US. So everything. The food would be less US. The game would be less in US. So, you want to see what the Canadian US dollars are worth, just do that on Google. You go CDN to USD, or USD to CAD, or CAD to USD. That's how you figure out the... So when I say $20 or so buys my son and I a meal, we eat out a fair amount on a weekend, so I'm easily spending $100 a week in fast food, easily, and not exactly the lifestyle I would want to have, but that's the lifestyle I've chosen. So you live with your choices, and he's still fighting back, but he's going to. I mean, he's much more obese than me. Me, I started gaining a little bit of weight back, but then now with summer here, or summer coming, I find I'm a little bit more active again. So it's starting to level out again, so it's not too bad. I would say I'm slightly overweight. I wouldn't even consider myself obese. My son, he had issues, but anyways, I'm all over the damn place. Started talking about fast food, and I started talking about our health. But anyways, yeah, he's in good. He's doing some exercise. He's been gaining height and shooting. Basically thinning out as he gets taller. So he's still growing, and he's exercising. I'm trying to encourage him to exercise more. Just keep at it. But anyways, my thought process is pretty simple when it comes to that. So when I purchase a game, if it costs the price of a meal, and it only lasts me several weeks. It's like going to the movies. I don't go to the movies. So if I purchase a game for Steam and I only get so much, Lumberjack Dynasty, I got a lot of enjoyment out of Lumberjack Dynasty. I'm hoping they update it, but they probably won't because a lot of these publishers move on to something else. The same thing goes with that Trader Life Simulator. He's got some other crap. This guy's got this developer has I think they have oh no, this guy has Medieval Dynasty, so yeah, he's probably moved on, or they've probably moved on. Trader Life Simulator, I don't know what the hell they're doing. He seems to be communicating with Twitch more than anything else. He hasn't had any other major updates. I kind of got in, and there was like major updates all the time, and I got in, and all of a sudden it stopped. NIMBY, Emmett plays around with that. I could care less. Subsistence, Emmett and I play still once in a while. Inmate Survival, I haven't done that in a little bit. That's fairly new, but I don't think my son was really into it, and I wasn't that much. Long Dark's a fun one. That's a fun one we'll go back into quite a bit. Lots of fun. So those are the kind of things, and those, like, that's about it. That's about all the ones. Dyson Sphere was a lot of fun. I don't know how the hell we got out of that. It's actually enjoyable. It's a lot of fun. It's got a lot of stuff to it. For me, it's kind of mind-boggling. It's hard for me to keep track of everything because there's so much science and technology involved, and it's not a headache or anything, but it kind of really pushes your, it's a thinking puzzle type. You have a lot of logistics involved in it, which is really neat, but maybe a little bit too much logistics. But it's fun. It's fun. I have a lot of fun with it. I'd go back to that anytime. If I could wrap my head around it. Here's an image of the CTC panel. So, this is what I was going to develop. And this is a Union Switch and Signal CTC machine. So, here's how my mind thinks. Right away, I'm thinking to myself, man, that's cool. Nothing like that's on the market, right? And I know how these work. I know how to program the logic. It's not that hard asset-wise. Unity, very easy to do that. I had the 2D boards. I was even doing these layouts are all, they're all based at different intervals. So it's very easy to copy and paste and get them into certain intervals. I was able to do that. In fact, I got graph paper, and I have something like this charted out. I have the Stanford sub, and I had the Stanford sub, and I had the Halton sub. Now, so here's the thing. I've run something that is similar to this. The closest thing I have run to something like this, there's two different ones. The more modern version, of course, is Train Dispatcher. You could say Run 8, but those are more modern or unprototypical modern, I guess you would say. I shouldn't say unprototypical modern because there was also the more recent whatever the hell that stupid add-on was for Run 8 dispatching or whatever. I barely used it. Those are the type of buyer remorse things. This is actually a prototypical model in somebody's basement model railroad, I think. I don't know. I think he's got it hooked up this way. I can look at every indication here, and I can tell you exactly how he has the line set up just by looking at everything. And I think I went over this. You got the code button down here. Yeah, what's this one? That, I believe, that's the alarm. So he's got an alarm on here. So basically, once it activates or comes in the area, you'll get a ding. Code button. Nothing starts until you start throwing the switches. It will only allow you to do it if the interlocking in the field allows it to happen, or in the office, which is this would be considered the office side. But yeah, it's I guess I should. Oh, no, 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 no! Don't do that! Don't do that! Get. Yeah, let's go. Yeah. So I don't know what the actual size is, but whatever. Is that actual size? That's actual size. Oh, okay. Well, actual size isn't that big. I blew it up anyways, but so I started thinking about that, and I thought to myself, okay, do I really want to be sitting at this, and watching a bunch of trains go across as little blips on dots, and yeah, okay, I'd have the puzzle of dispatching the traffic and trying to. Here's the thing. When you get a dose of multiplayer and what it's like to dispatch a multiplayer simulation or dispatch a model railroad, that's about as real as you're going to get, other than the real thing. You see what I mean? I could program the AI, and I trust me, I started thinking about voice recognition. I can't even, I have very limited C# programming knowledge, let alone trying to figure out how to do all that stuff. So you add in all these extra little goodies that you're trying to do. Yes, I could get the AI to behave in a certain way and do this. This is relatively simple. A CTC machine is just a bunch of logic, and or chips, relays. So you put it into a a digital version, and it's and or logic or if statements. So if statements, if else this happens, if this doesn't happen, if this variable isn't set, if this switch isn't set, if this condition's locked, if a train's approaching, blah 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 blah. It's logic. It's not rocket science to set something like this up. To get this to work, to actually function, and to even have AI that would allow trains to come on at a certain time, I could do something like this. I guarantee you, I can do something like this in Unity right now. I can have it out by 2 months from now, if I put my mind to it. Guess what? I have no ambition in this whatsoever. I learned that the hard way. My son has tried to get me to it. I just don't have the ambition. I'm not interested in it. One, I don't think it's going to make money. Not to say that I need to make money. I couldn't sell it for much. I don't think. Maybe some people would be interested. I don't know. I suppose there's a market for everything. But I'm not interested. It's not that I can't do it. There, I can do it. I know I can do it. That's within my skill level. I have no ambition to do it. And I think Scott would remember a time. Let me just catch up on everything here. I'd like to see ATS include passenger. Okay, got that. Hang much longer around me. I'll nutty as a fruitcase like myself. But did I scare Quincy off? Did he go to sleep on me? I see Scott here. I understand James. I got James' comment. Thank you, James. Yeah, people are coming and going, so that's cool. They don't want to hear me ramble here. They got their own lives. I don't blame them. Yeah. I mean, I'm only doing this just to kind of burn a couple hours. It's already 10:44. Wow. I might even go past 11 p.m. tonight. I don't care. It's not like I have to get up early tomorrow. We'll just miss a train or two. And I don't worry about that. I don't worry about having to get up early to see special trains or whatever. I mean, trains run day, night, doesn't matter. They run, they run here, they run, massive cities all around, blah, 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 blah. You miss a train. I miss trains during the week all the time. Whoopie-doo. Not a big deal. It's still something I like to do on the weekends, especially when the weather's nice, and especially when I can fly a drone. So I get out there, and the funny thing is, a lot of it's repetitive. Doesn't matter to me. I enjoy it. We just have fun doing it. As long as he has fun and I have fun, I don't care. And don't get me wrong, I like exploring. I like to go different places too, and we're looking forward to that. July's coming. We always center it around, a different place. We've explored different areas. We've gone to Thunder Bay, along the shores of Lake Superior. I thought about that this year. I really did. Doing something like that again. I can only imagine, but the problem is I'm having second thoughts with flying my drone anywhere where it could get lost. I've seen videos on the internet where birds attacking drones, and now I mean the chance of it happening is actually a lot slimmer, but because you've seen videos on the internet and it does happen, it's just like all of a sudden you're just like, okay, well, don't fly above nesting birds and all this other stuff. I'm like, well, yeah, I know, but no. I've had massive flights under my. I got my money's worth for the drone as it was, so I didn't mind spending the extra money. I don't want to do it again, so this time I'm going to be a little more careful. Try not to back up too much. It's much easier to go forward. Try to stay within range to see where the drone is actually at, like physically. They say you're supposed to have like actual physical contact, not to rush. Just try not to rush so much, and make sure you're high enough. That's the thing. It's some people out there who have drones or whatever, and it's just like, oh yeah, I wouldn't fly that high, and you don't get to see the detail and all the other stuff. But I think it's fun flying high once in a while. Just fly up there, go a little bit higher. Yeah, the detail's great, but it's fun to see not just the detail, but the immerse scene of everything around you. So it's a lot of fun. But just going into my thought pattern on this. Is it still at this screen, or did it go to another screen? But anyways. So what happened with the latest and greatest, or whatever, ideas that I've had? First of all, the Unity ideas that I have right now is probably, and I've had a lot of this idea quite a bit. I did mention on Train Sim the one idea I was looking at was a ship simulator. I come and go with that one. That's a difficult one. There's an interesting mechanic when it comes to buoyancy, although it doesn't seem that hard to do. It's something that I'm not sure I want to do. So buoyancy, and other than that, it's doable. It's how much fun is it to just run a canal for 12 hours, which you're running like 30 some odd miles or whatever the hell it is. Lake Erie, Lake Ontario. Yeah, you go through 8 locks and you get to pass by a bunch of ships, and no, those things don't go very fast. The trucks are different. I like American Truck Simulator because you get to get around a bit. Sometimes it'd be nice to see the scenery, and there's places where I can get off the side of the road and they got these nice little views of the Truck Simulator. It's a lot of fun. But anyways, I was going into that idea. Before that, I thought about building a train simulator from the ground up and trying to start with the physics. I've done the 2D version. I've done the other one where you just have like, probably I had the video a while back where I had the day night cycle, and I was trying the 3D models on a 2D photo background type thing. The photo background I could still do, but I actually want to get into the 3D textures and the 3D landscape, for example. I mean, there's good landscape tools in Unity. Might as well use them, right? Since they're there. So that's a no-brainer. I mean, making a landscape in Unity is probably one of the most powerful things that can be done. You got a nice editor, landscape sculptor. It's built right in. You can populate it with whatever asset you want to populate it with, or you can paint ground textures. You can do all kinds of pretty quick stuff. It's actually pretty damn quick to make a really nice looking scene. Like something like this. I could take a picture or an image or something. I don't know if you can plaster images, 2D images on that. I haven't really looked too much into that. It would be much easier, but it isn't that hard, really, to find certain textures to just paint. And then from there, take an image like this as a background and then do this. Now, I'm looking at the trains again. So you're saying, well, Sean, you're talking about the trains again, like you're thinking about this still. Here's the thing. As far as getting this, and you can see I've done stuff with ships too. Like there's ships around the area. I enjoy the ships. I think they're cool. I don't really follow them as much. I'm more interested in the trains, but I certainly enjoy seeing the ships. I've seen the ships become a little bit more repetitive. A train, a 100-car train, it's much more interesting for me to watch a 100-car train than it is to watch a ship go by. But watching them go through the locks and then seeing certain ships. This guy, for example, I saw him come back downbound about a week or so ago. This image was from several weeks prior to that. I think about a month ago or something. But so yeah, you get an image. So if I was to do like the train sim, this is I'll tell you. I was thinking about this all the time. Like RTA, it was really on my mind because I hadn't really thought it fully through, but I knew that it would be so cool if I could work it. So I thought about, this is how my concept was going to be with RTS. RTS was going to be basically a railroad transportation simulator. What it was, the baby that I always wanted to have from day one. Not a beta, not part of some other program, just my baby. And it was going to be from the ground up train simulator. I wasn't worried too much about getting all the detail. My biggest thing was I could still be fine on cardboard or whatever, and to be quite, or not cardboard, or to be on baseboard or whatever. Honestly, I could still do baseboard. I remember running trains when I first ran some of the routes that I had with when I had Niagara start going in trains, and I remember I enjoyed that. So that was fine. But I could see where it would get repetitious. So, how does it become interesting? So what you have is, and this is how I wanted to do it, I wanted to have every position, from the dispatcher to the yardmaster to the conductor, to everybody, including, I wanted to have the Unity physics built in to every model, and I wasn't going to simulate AI or turn off the physics for AI. I was going to have the AI do it all. I don't know how intensive that was going to be. I was going to try it anyways because Niagara's not that busy, and you know it's good enough for me to get my feel. Since I'm still enjoying Niagara as it is, I thought, and I know not everybody's going to enjoy it. I don't care. I wanted to do something that I wanted, so that's all I cared about. If you build it, they'll come. So it was simple. It's not simple, but the concept's simple, I think. When you had a map. I was going to start out by building about 6 miles. I think 6 miles of track. Yeah. 6 miles of track between I can't load this up. 6 miles of track between 2 miles outside of Port Robinson to 2 miles on the other side of Port Robinson. Everything was going to be centered around the yard at Port Robinson. I'll open up something here. I'll show you what I mean. We'll go into maps here and I'll visualize this for you. So this is what I do. I visualize this too, and I think about it, and I play it out in my head. We're going to go past 11 p.m. tonight. I don't care. So if you want to stick with me, if you want to check me out later on, that's cool. I don't want to be too late tonight. I can't say when. It'll be over when it's over. How about that? I can't help it. I really can't help it. This is Port Robinson Yard. There's an industry over here. So I was gonna start out with Port Robinson Yard. The Y here, just enough to probably get an engine, a few cars around, somewhere around here. And the track would extend out to probably a spawn point. Whoa. Where's this curve? I know this curves. It curves somewhere. Is it that much of a... Wow, that's a small curve. Okay. Well, I was going to have it just past Lundy's Lane coming into Niagara Falls. So, yeah. About 2 miles there, the Y. And Port Robinson Yard, I'd probably have... get this nice little industry going, to have some industry switching going. And then it would roll up to probably somewhere around here. I don't know. Enough to have a drill area, so yeah, somewhere around here, I guess. Who knows? Have some fun with it. It'd be really simple. You go into the Sen. Now, eventually, it would be much bigger. It would be encompassing all of Niagara region and perhaps beyond. So, and not only would it be CN, it would be CP, it would be the short lines. Not only in this would it be CN, for example, you would also have the industry switchers. Not only would you have the industry switchers, if you had an industry that required forklifts to load or whatever, or, like, what do you call it, conveyor belts, you name it. Whatever the hell it takes to get the product loaded or unloaded, that was going to be part of it. I wanted to simulate all of it. And in order to get this going, I'd have something like train 421. So I visualized myself running 421. So 421 in the morning, he'd be coming through. He'd be coming in, and you could at first I wasn't going to even have it as a train simulator. I was just going to have it that you just watch along. And I wasn't going to worry about every aspect of the physics of the train. And then I thought, well, yeah, that would be kind of cool, though, to have the physics. And then I thought, well, yeah, that'd be, I might as well, people may want to operate the train, so give them the option. Give people more options. So they could run the train, they could be in the conductor's role, the conductor could call signals, they would relay each other, and I'm not even thinking multiplayer yet, although I would certainly be open to it because it just brings itself open to multiplayer. but you have a two-man crew come in on 421. He's communicating with a yardmaster. I would have either text-based, probably at first, communication system, but I would also want to have a integrated radio in there so that you would speak into your microphone, and it would have I would use some type of voice recognition. I know other games do it. I don't know how I could do it to Unity, but I would research it and see if there was one out there and see how they did it. Just says, simple as that. Find out how they did it and see if I can do it. See how complicated it is. Maybe I would need to have a module. Maybe I need to have a certain whatever. Just figure out how to do it. I gotta get a drink because my voice is, my throat is going. I'm still here, guys. Just give me a minute. I'll explain more of this. I want to go on about that whole thing. I start talking for so long, my voice just gets dry. Ugh. Okay. So yeah, I'd have 421. You'd either be the engineer or the conductor, or maybe be the yard master, and just the thing runs itself and build it, and they will come. I would buy it. Yeah. Well, again, if you're talking about when you say build it, it'll come, I would buy it. I think you might be talking about the CTC simulator, because I think that's where I was mentioning maybe I'd sell it, maybe I wouldn't. Maybe I'll still do that. I don't know. I just don't have the ambition to do it. I'm not. I don't have that much interest in it myself, so I really haven't been. This one I was more interested in. I was more interested in doing this. And the reason why I'm more interested in doing this is because, I mean, there's a lot going on, but I think these things out. And I don't necessarily talk myself out of it, at least I don't think I do, but I try to visualize how it would feel. I used to be able to visualize at a model railroad club building a signal system, and every time I visualized it, it just was awesome. I never visualized it so much to where I thought, oh, well, that's kind of boring. I always thought it would be cool to be able to have the model railroad dispatching systems. And you know, it would be cool because other people would benefit from it and blah blah blah. And there's a lot of good ones out there now. I like driving in Railfan. Yeah, and this is fine. I'll tell you where I'll get to. I'll get to where it where things start going downhill for me. So, I don't worry about the assets right away. My main assets to get things going. Yes, I'd love. Oh, great! Now I got a picture of a ship, or in the canal. My main thing was get the track in, maybe get some of the basic infrastructure. Put in a bunch of stand-ins or whatever. Doesn't matter what it is, but start getting the logic and start programming the functionality of it. And eventually, because I already had access to an asset set for flat cars, so I knew it wouldn't take too much to build just basic cars. Like you can make rectangles and cubes and all that other crap in Unity. It doesn't take much. Attach some wheels to it, and I mean as simple. They call them primitives for a reason. And once you had that, so yeah, you just start with a track. So you start with the track, and not obviously as elaborate as Mackyard here, but you start with that. The lighting is already built into Unity, so that I could have day and night cycles. That's not a problem. I wouldn't have all the scenery, although I could paint ground, I could paint textures, I can do all kinds of things with that if I wanted to. So I can make it relatively look okay, although the assets would be primitive for the time being until I decided that I wanted to get into Blender more, or I could get it working the way I wanted it to. So what I had is 421 would come in, and what 421 does is he comes in from Toronto area, so he would spawn out, and the difference between spawning would be as opposed to what Run 8 does. Run 8, when it spawns, the train just basically, like when you spawn a train in and you're running it, it basically spawns and then it starts up. Well, I would spawn it at speed, which is a little odd considering if you have a rail driver set in, you have to have the throttle at a certain position and all that other stuff. I think I wouldn't worry too much about what the throttle setting is. I think, in fact, I would have it at neutral and just get it at the speed without brakes and let it come in on its own throttle, and then decide where you want to put the throttle once you took control of it. If you took control of it, because if you didn't, then the AI would be controlling it anyways. So if you were just watching along, then you could, and that would be fine. So 421 would call up 562 or the Yardmaster, Port Robinson, whoever. I don't even know if it's technically a Yardmaster. I think it's part of the 562 crew. I'm not 100% sure yet. They used to have Yardmasters there. I don't know if they still do. I think they just have the 562 crew that comes in, breaks down 421, builds it into a couple other trains. That's when 531 comes out, and 562 actually met it today, and it meets it a lot of times out at Jaeger or wherever else it's switching in and around the area. Sometimes it's still within Port Robinson. So 531, it builds 531 and 539, and 562 does some of the local switching in the area. So it's cool. And prototypically speaking, it's cool. I enjoy it. I enjoy following the trains, even when they go to Port Colborne and only carry a couple cars. It's fun. I could actually get tired of it. It used to be a rarity for me to see it. Now I see it a lot, so I could see getting tired of that. Just like I'm kind of getting tired of the CP trains because they're they're so plentiful and all that. I just go check it out just because it's a train, but I may not worry about putting the drone up unless I know what's on it, if there's something interesting on it. But it's not like I worry too much about getting an image of every train anyways. So like I say, you start with a track like that, get all the track situated the way the yard would look. Don't worry about the trees and the water and all that other stuff. 421 comes in. He's given a track by the Yardmaster. So the Yardmaster is an AI, is working under AI conditions. It knows how long the train is, it knows where it can fit, what tracks are available, and logically decides what track is to be set up and where to put it, and it relays those instructions to 421. 421 comes into Port Robinson Yard, parks it by the office, and that's the end of 421's tour. He goes out. He gets in his car because that's where he starts his tour from. He stays in a motel overnight because he went out on 422 the day before. So he stays in a motel in Toronto, and he comes back 421. Picks up their car, the engineer, conductor, two-man crew, off they go. 562 then goes into action. 562 is at least a 3-man crew. It could be 4 if it's the one guy that's left over at the yard. I'm not positive. Or he could be the yard master. I really don't know for sure. I think he's technically the yard master. And what happens there is he takes control of the power of 421, breaks the train down, and builds, as I said, he will build train 531, which is the first trick that goes at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then there's one that goes at 9 o'clock in the evening. Both of them head to Buffalo. They head to different parts of Buffalo. One has the interchange, 531, the first one has interchange with NS at Fort Erie. And so I don't know everything about it, but here's like the lock scene. This is why I was thinking about the canal sim and all that other stuff. Anyways, so that's that's a whole other brain fart that I had. But so far so good. I'm into this so far. I'm thinking, okay, well, this is cool. Because then I can simulate, what it's like for an entire railroad. It's a railroad transportation system. It's what I always wanted, right? So I started visualizing the role of 562. When I first visualized it, my first visualization was you were only going to be the engineer. And the thing with 562 is you go back and forth, because all you're doing is switching. And you have a conductor telling you how to switch it, how far to go back, how far to go forward, how far to go back, how far to go forward. It's switching. But from the visual, if you're in the engineer, technically does not have the little screen where he gets to go and watch all kinds of cool views of the train. So those visuals are a rail fanning perspective. So if 562 is now doing his thing, that one's I think 531 going over. I think that's 531 going over to Buffalo, New York from Fort Erie. Fort Erie's here. That's Buffalo, New York there. That's the International Bridge in Fort Erie. But, so 562's main priority is to build 531, and then he's working on his local train that he has to run for his switching duties, and then the last priority is to get 539 before he's done all the stuff that he needs to do. Usually done in 6 hours, I find, on a Saturday. At least that's what it seems to me. Maybe he's there for 8. I don't know. Doesn't seem to be there that long, but they may work 6 days a week. I really don't know what their tour is or what their schedule is. So from the engineer perspective, it was like, okay, well, this is kind of boring. I'm like, so you could be so then I thought, well, let me put it in so you could be the engineer, or you can be the conductor, or you can be the third crew member, because there's 3 crew members. And I thought, okay, well, that's cool. So I could be the conductor, and I would get a bit of a different visual on that. So that would be kind of cool. And, it would be go back and forth and whatever, and doing its thing. And the difference between, like, say, for example, a Run 8 is these guys would be operating on their own. You wouldn't be controlling everything. And I kind of like that because it gave it more perspective. Or if you wanted to, you could just watch as a rail fan. So I thought, okay, well, that's cool and all. But this is where I start losing it. Because at this point, I'm thinking to myself, well, wait a minute. So I'm going to be watching, it build a train, and then I'm thinking, well, that's... Here's where the disconnect comes in. If you're watching something, it's got to be pleasing to the eye. because of my skill level, I'm a long ways of getting the visual candy. Whereas before, where I said I could build on plywood, that's when I wanted to operate on plywood. I don't want to operate on plywood. I don't want to operate in a model railroad. I don't even want to operate in a model railroad club. I mean, the only thing about the model railroad club that I kind of miss is dispatching a group of live people. I'd certainly be interested in dispatching the signal system when they get it up. But other than that, and I did the thing with Toronto and whatever, and you sit in a hole and, you watch the same trains come in and out, might have a few different cars. It's like, okay, that's nice. You're basically sitting around in a Kwanzaa hut. It doesn't really stimulate me. Not like it used to. When I was younger, it did. It doesn't now. It just doesn't. It isn't what drives my blood. I did American Truck Simulator. I showed a live stream of it about a week ago. I look forward to running that every week. Every day, I should say, not every week. Pardon me. I look forward to running that. I look forward to going out tomorrow and flying a drone and seeing what we can find tomorrow. I'm looking forward to vacation. So I'm looking forward to those things. But what happens is, now there's the mix between having the eye candy. Suddenly the eye candy matters. The eye candy never used to matter to me. But the thing is, when I get images like this, suddenly it's like, okay, I gotta have it like that. I gotta do something like that. I gotta at least have it close. And it doesn't have to be even 50% of the stuff. But I need to have assets that look like those assets. I need to have lighting that looks like that lighting. Put it this way. You take a look at American Truck Simulator, and you take a look at the scenery that's involved in that. That's what stimulates me. That's what gives it that added, I can't think of the word. I used to know these words. My brain doesn't work the same way. Maybe my brain is collapsing. I don't know. But I think I have all my casualties. Faculties. I got all my casualties, yeah. Whoops. Oh, boy. But it's different now. Like, suddenly, I've had this drone since I think it's been about November, September. I don't know when the hell it was. It was in the fall. This was in the fall of last year. So, I don't know how good the weather was. It looks pretty nice and sunny then. It looked like a nice day. Down by Port Weller there, you had the pilot boat going back and forth there. If you look at American Truck Simulator and you look at the scenery, here's the thing. The scenery that is done by those guys, to do that kind of thing, it takes a team of people who know how to do the graphics. And sure, there is some repeated assets. There always is. You can't build every asset, and nor would I expect it to. I don't need that stimulation. I don't need that much stimulation to get the incentive or the feeling. I can't think of the word. I know there's a word. And Run 8 used to do it for me too. Run 8 used to have enough of how real it felt to run an actual train, and the feeling of having the rail driver and going down the grade at Tehachapi. I remember those feelings. I remember in the peak of Run 8 where I would sit at, I'd be dispatching and I would be watching all the trains coming through, and I'd be lining up people at the Y just outside of Barstow Yard there, and it was awesome. The peak was then. That was version 2 at its peak, and it was very early on. Because shortly after that, they expanded. And when they expanded, the AI's weaknesses became more apparent. So what you ended up having was you just had trains that were following a set of small rules. They were much, 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 much less human. It wasn't real, and it felt unreal. The trains are just they would do say, you didn't have anything. Multiplayer was interesting. What is this? This is Southern Yard. Yeah, I think it was a Southern Yard. Looks like Southern Yard to me. But I mean, that kind of detail. I mean, I don't need every freaking bush or whatever. I'm looking at the infrastructure of the railroad here. That's what I want. I want to have the cars that look like that. I want to have the track that looks like that. I want to have the lighting, the proper lighting, the shadows. The color, depth, different water, different textures. I'm more interested in textures. I can live off textures. I don't have to have every freaking 3D model. I don't even have to have the trees swaying in the wind. I could care less about that stuff. It doesn't have that in what do you call it? American Truck Simulator. Why would I worry about that? And American Truck Simulator doesn't have as much detail as that image right there. Doesn't matter. Doesn't need to. I mean, I'm sure it would be something if it ever got to that, but hey, there's only so much you can do. I mean, don't get me wrong, the technology is getting better and better, but things are going less and less from PCs as well. And this is the thing, and when I started thinking about these processes, I started realizing it was just like, wait a minute. What am I actually excited about for that? And as far as the CTC board goes, okay, so I have a CTC board and I'm dispatching. Great. I haven't run TD3 in well over a year. There's been times when I've been bored too. It hasn't been always, I got plenty of things to do with my time. There were times where I was bored. I remember there was times where, my son would go up on Sunday. He would, about a year or so ago, he'd go up at 3, and I'd have a hard time to fill that time. I'd have a hard time to find things that were just for me. For me personally, I can still play with those projects. I could fill up 2 hours pretty easily. It doesn't take much for me to fill up 2 hours. He goes upstairs from 9 o'clock. It doesn't take me up to, look at that. I'm at 11:23. I'm still yapping. It hasn't stopped. I think I know how I feel. And that's the thing. I can't deny how I feel. And here we go. Now we're looking at the ships. I'd love to do that. Okay. So here's the things about that. There's aspects about it that would be interesting. The train is more interesting to me than the ships, though. Because, like in real life, the train's more interesting. But this was kind of, it'd be a neat little aspect. It'd be neat to be a traffic controller, because then you'd get the visuals, and you would have real cameras in various places watching these nice 3D ships go through, doing their meets, because that's what they do. They do meets. They have a double. I think I even mentioned they have a double section. They control all the lift bridges. they run everything off of a control center, which, well, my picture disappeared, but it would have been off onto the right hand side. The administration building is right by those flight logs. That controls everything in the Welland Ship Canal. They used to have lock masters, they used to have bridge masters, they used to have crews. Everything is so friggin' automated there. But their traffic controllers, I think they have at least two. I've heard on the radio. I have a scanner frequency. If I want to listen to them, I turn on a bank on the frequency. I can listen to all the traffic control, and it's cool. So yeah, I can still do that, but it gets away from the whole train thing. I've been thinking about it though. The thought has crossed my mind. Do I want to do that? Do I want to get into that realm? It's possible, and it's not like I wouldn't be interested in now modeling water and getting it to look right. That's going to be another fun thing. But I'm okay, once you get the various things, build upon it and build upon the skills, and then you can get it to look better. The thing is to try to get things like, say, the train simulators and so, like even like anything that's close to the level of American Truck Simulator. To try to get that, you need, number one, you have teams of very experienced people that know what the hell they're doing. And they have massive experience on their side. They've done Euro Truck Simulator. They've done who knows what else. They know what the hell they're doing. So, newbie me here at the age of 49 trying to learn how the hell I'm supposed to do something. Now, I mean, you got Scott here. He's making models all the time. I don't know how the hell he does it. And I think he's even said he doesn't know how some of the young kids do better models than him, or something like that, or something like, I don't know if he said it that way, if it was better models than what he can do, or better techniques, or he can do it way faster than what he can do it, or something like that. I forget how he said it. Maybe he's still here and he tell me. I think he's probably not off or gone to the news, or who knows. I'm just yapping now. So, but. Yeah, it's getting there. I'm going to wind it up in a few minutes, but... So... Quincy says... Run 8 version 3 comes along, and I'm going to dive right into it. Whatever they throw. Run 8 has given me no signs that they are anywhere close. I don't care. I don't care what the actions speak louder than words. The other thing that speaks louder than words is commitment into your base. Just and I'm not sorry. I shouldn't even say commitment to your base. That's a wrong word. Commitment to your customers. Commitment to the people who have supported you. Commitment to the people who have actually gone out there and have, with name recognition alone, whether it's Scott, who is gifted at least 3 copies. I heard the other day. I think he said that. I think he said he gifted 3 copies of Run 8. I've been gifted a route. I was gifted LA. LA was gifted to me. In fact, what got me originally into Run 8 was I was gifted the original Run 8 from the team. So I'm not, and I'm grateful for that. It's not. I'm not trying to crap all over them. I know it seems that way, but I'm highly critical. They can do whatever the hell they want. It's their business. They can do whatever the hell they want. I got my money's worth on Run 8 years ago. I don't care. Best train simulator on the planet. Far none. Still is. Nothing's going to touch it. There's nothing out there that can touch it. You say, it's Train Sim World. Well, Train Sim World's good for eye candy. Runs like shit, but hey, It's good eye candy. It's like, I mean, immersion factor. That's the one. The immersion factor. How to feel immersively into something. So here's the thing. How does immersive factors work? Well, good looking scenery can be immersive. At the same time, poor gameplay or poor simulation can be destructively immersive. You don't have to have the best scenery either. You can have some pretty good looking scenery. Run 8's got pretty good scenery, I think. I think they're pretty good. A lot of it's desert based, but then they've been able to do they've been able to spread their rings a little bit more with the northeast and the southeast as in different in different aspects. So they're kind of away from that whole desert idea. LA, they got into different things there as well. So the immersive factor changes. But this to me is immersive. When I look at this, that's immersive. If I could visualize and operate a railroad, that I could simulate what they do on a regular basis on my computer, that alone, if I could do, put it this way, if I could do half of what that looked like and be able to have the background for it to look that good, take a long time for me to get there. I could be yapping, instead of just yapping, I could be working at it. Question is, how long am I going to be working at it, and how many walls am I going to get through, and when am I going to get to that wall that's just going to make me give up? Because a lot of things make me give up. It's not like I'm a quitter, but I think I'm realistic. It's just like, you only live once. I'm 49 years old. Life is just passing by. My kid's going to be 13 soon. I remember holding him in St. Catherine's Hospital. It feels like yesterday some days. So, and St. Catherine's Hospital is a bunch of rubble right now. I don't know what they're doing. They put condos up or something. The hospital he's born at doesn't even exist anymore. It's a different St. Catherine's Hospital. Trust me, I've been in it. Not for me, but for Emmett. He had some issues a couple years ago, but yeah. But yeah, it's like time flies by. You only live once. Am I going to spend that much effort on something that is never going to be anything more than just a pipe dream? Or am I going to look at what I'm really into and say, hey, what can I do to make something interesting? What do I like? Well, I already like American Truck Simulator. I don't need to create anything, And put it this way: if Run 8 or any other train simulator was able to do even probably a quarter of the ideas that I can think of, I wouldn't even say a quarter. I bet you if it could do 10% of the ideas I can think of, and especially get over some of the tough spots. It's real simple. Give me AI switching so that I don't have to rely on a bunch of people to join a server, because everybody is over on the most popular server out there and nobody gives a rat's ass. It is worse now than it ever has been. Because the little guys, whether or not they can host a server or not with a bunch of their friends, it takes a very dedicated group of a bunch of your friends to decide how you want to run it. And how to run it as real as it gets. because how do you take? I could take a place like Niagara, and I could take a few of my friends and say, yeah, let's do Niagara. That'd be fine. Well, guess what? There is no Niagara. There's Run 8. Run 8 ain't Niagara. Run 8 is, uh, you know, it's representing the main line. It's like, okay, well, you can turn the main line and pretend it's something else. Okay, well, yeah, I can. Or you can go and run Trona. Well, yeah, Trona's fine and dandy, but Trona isn't exactly has a dispatcher or any signals on it. I don't want to go from one extreme to the other. So I want something that is still part of a class one, but not necessarily the transcontinental, if you know what I mean. Give us a little something that's the thing. The ones that they go for the most are the busiest lines. They want the ones with all the action and all the traffic and all the whatever. And it's like they don't have the AI that can do diddly squat with it. They expect the humans to fill it up? Are you kidding me? I don't care how many people you have. You're not gonna. You're just back when you just had Tehachapi and you had that one route, you could do it. I haven't bitched about Run 8 in, I don't know. It's been months. So I hate doing this. I really do. Because I kind of mention Run 8 a little bit. I still mention it all the time because it's the gold standard. It's still the best there is. And it's great. I didn't mention it tonight, not much. The person who mentioned it was this guy here, Quincy, my buddy, who's gone. He said, I'm telling you the truth. No, I don't believe you are. You think I'm telling the truth. That's the thing. You and he says he's going to bet me, or he bet it. He said, okay, well, it's been about a year. Has anything changed? No. He thought I was just going to get back into it before version 3 came along. Did I do it? Nope. I think I did it once, and then what happens? I get out of it. I try something, I get out of it. I try something, I get out of it. Eventually, you realize, well, why are you getting out of it? Because there's a reason why you're getting out of it. Because it's not stimulating. It's not interesting. It's gotten old. You know what I mean? That's the reason why. You need something to stimulate the freshness. You need I mean, it's great to have stuff that is familiar, but familiarity is great. Like being part of a region. I was all for work in California, like when it was small enough and manageable enough. So all it needed was the ability to have people man those positions and be able to run them. The problem is when you go to 24/7 servers, now you're into a different realm altogether. And this whole 24/7 thing that I kind of put it this way. Dams was the one that went into the anarchy, and I thought, holy crap. I never thought, at first I thought anarchy was a joke. Even John with Run 8 said that. He says, well, I don't know why anybody would want to go into anarchy. I was just like, yeah, I agree. I don't know why anybody would want to go anarchy and just let everybody, let the natives run loose. But then all of a sudden, it's like, well, wait a minute. As long as you set some rules and guidelines and you're able to track what's going on, you can trust people, and then you can let it go. So Dams did that. And what happened? It goes into anarchy, and things are fine. So and it became very popular. I'm like, this is interesting. So Dam starts getting a noticeable edge, and I'm like, okay. So we're playing this whole one-upmanship game, and it was all about getting more people because you wanted to have more people on your servers to make it interesting because you didn't have the AI in version 1. So what did I do? The moment they went to anarchy, I was just like, okay, well, anarchy's cool. I'll do anarchy. Guess what? I'm going to run my server 24/7. Next day, he went 24/7. He wasn't the first, but I was. But he was the first to do anarchy. And that just stimulated me. I was like, okay, well, fine. I'll do anarchy 24/7. One of the worst things that can happen. It's great that you're able to have the 24/7 and people can come on at any time. Problem with it is you don't have enough people to run it 24/7. You don't have enough people to run Tehachapi 24/7. You barely have enough people to run Niagara 24/7. Well, I shouldn't say that. You probably do. In fact, you could probably run even a little busier than Niagara. Most servers could probably do it. What you can't do is a transcontinental with 100 some odd trains and a Barstow and 26 manifests a day, I think it is, and an intermodal facility and wherever. I can't remember the names anymore. I haven't played in so long. Triple tracks or double, triple track main lines on needles, and hell, I never had Seligman, so I really don't give a rat's ass about that, or Bakersfield. People try to get me into Bakersfield. I'm like, yeah, okay. I thought about it. It was tempting. Just like Trona. It was just like, yeah, I'm gonna get Trona. No. It's tempting, but I just couldn't do it. So, it didn't happen. A lot of people are listening to me babble. Are you guys still alive or what? You're just letting me go off on a handle here. Talk to me. Probably gonna end it here. Let me know what you're thinking. I don't even know who's here. I see like 4 people are here. I was like, got 3 likes and 5 consecutive viewers. Holy crap. Well, that's interesting. I'm glad I'm entertaining. That's good. So let me know. Let me know what you're thinking, guys. But I'm gonna end it before midnight. Midnight, I'm cutting it off. It's 11:42. I can't go past. I don't want to go past midnight. It's already 2.5 hours of whatever. So what? Okay. So I'll let you guys think about whatever it is you want to talk about. If you want to chat about anything, I'm here. So what am I into right now? Obviously, I'm in American Truck Simulator. Do I need to simulate? Do I need to create anything in American Truck Simulator? No. I mean, in theory, yeah, it'd be nice to do a one-to-one type thing. That'd be kind of cool, but yeah. If I was going to do a train thing, I would probably have something like I don't really want to do a tycoon type thing, but I would probably have something that if I was going to do a tycoon thing, it would be like on a one-to-one, sort of like NIMBY, except it would be half decent. Build your simulator, I'll buy it. Yeah, but my simulator may have nothing to do with trains, and that's the thing. And that's the thing. I understand people will buy it. I mean, it's nice, and I think there are people out there that would. I just don't know. Like, put it this way: would I go so far as to do the CTC machine? Possibly, because I know I can do it, and it's probably a good first step. And maybe it gives me the confidence. Maybe I learn a lot, and I can use that as a stepping stone. But I also know, like I said, before that I thought to myself, well, I wasn't really interested in that, but I was kind of interested in the I was kind of interested in the whole building a train simulator from scratch and from the ground up, and then starting to have the various things on it. But like I said, then to have it. Okay, so you have train sims and truck sims. Do you have exploring games? Because that's where my mind is right now. The one that I'm looking at doing is a combination of exploration with random map generation, or random terrain, I should say. Exploration combined with survival. So, and maybe it might have trains somehow into that, but it probably won't. So, and it's crazy that because, like I say, you look at my titles. I mean, I love transportation and driving and all other crap. Um, and it would probably have some vehicles in it, I would imagine. Get around places or get around quicker. Subsistence has nothing to do with trains. I still do it. Inmate survival, I still do it. So these are kind of the realms that I will get into. Lumberjack's Dynasty has nothing to do with trains. It's interesting because it has to do with a lumber mill, which is really interesting. But I don't play that anymore because that got a little old, unfortunately. Long Dark survival game, a lot of fun. Um, but yeah, is it realistic? Probably not. Because it's you're in the Canadian winter wilderness, blah blah blah, or something like that, and um, there's power and people are. It's not a zombie game. I hate zombie games. I don't like to go that way. Dyson Sphere is a space thing. I'm into space stuff as well. I would probably do an exploration type game where you're basically surviving off the land, and you're actually going into the land and building and planting, harvesting, hunting, fishing, you name it, whatever it is. I don't even like fishing in real life or hunting, but I've always admired the survival type outdoor lifestyle thingy. Just having a beautiful, like a nice environment to wait, and really, I mean, yeah, the environment's important in those games, but Unity alone with the textures and being able to have the landscapes actually is quite nice. So that's appealing to me. So that's really, that for me is really appealing. Anybody else beside James still here? Not that I don't like to chat with you, James. I don't mind chatting with you, James. That's all cool. Holy crap. My throat's getting dry again. But, that's, I mean, if I'm going to do anything, it'll probably be I'll probably just do the CTC thing. I get bored at work sometimes, and especially with the summer, if it gets too hot, I'll bring the graph paper and plot out the CTC board a little bit and do it. But I think the whole gist of this is, I mean, I do want to do RTS, but I don't think I have the ability to do it well enough to keep me invested in the project. As far as the dispatcher board, I know I have the ability to do that. The problem is I don't have any ambition to do it. So, okay. Oh, that's cool. Um, yeah, realistic train sim. There's a huge learning curve when it comes to trying to figure out how to Like I want to do the physics and get the physics involved. Um, and who knows? Maybe some other idea. Maybe I'll just I'll have to think about it more. I know I like trains, so I mean I've liked trains since I was a kid, and I mean we're talking 45 or so plus years, right? Oh, you guys the same thing 2 years ago. Oh wow, I've been involved in some of the early stages of it. It used to be model railroading, and then um, yeah, the simulators came along, and um, now for me, like I said, for me, Run 8. I was into since its inception. I was in the original beta team. Um, I was in Microsoft Train Simulator before. I was in Freight Yard Manager. It was kind of weird because I went back and forth with Microsoft Train Simulator. I went in and out of it a few times. I've even thought about Open Rails. Somebody mentioned to me about Open Rails the other day, actually about probably a month or so ago, and they said something along the lines of, "Why don't you do something in Open Rails?" And I was kind of intrigued by the idea, and it was just like because I was open to it. And the reason why I was open to it was I wasn't, Run 8 to me is not going anywhere. I don't care what they say. They can talk about whatever they can with their buddies and whatever. I don't hear. There's no news. There's no information about it. I'm into my second childhood. Yeah, Scott. You're not the most senior guy. Scott's got some years on you. He's probably dozing off right now, or he's gone past his bedtime. Scott, are you still there? Probably had somebody call him. Um, but come on, Scott, are you still there, man? Where are you? Ah, I don't know. Maybe Scott's gone. Scott will come back. Like, I'll check my email later on, see if he's left me an email or something. But yeah, it's like well, that's cool. It's like and it's good. I mean I think it's great. It's you're never too old to learn something. Um, and I tell myself that all the time. And just because I'm 49 or whatever, and I'm thinking, I don't want to spend years upon years of learning something that is incredibly complicated and usually takes teams of people to produce the stuff that I really like. Um, I gotta find I gotta find the medium. I gotta find the in between. Run 8. I'll tell you. I know I sound like I'm harping on Run 8. Okay. I respect, especially, I've always respected the guys. I really have. I know it doesn't seem like it at times, and they probably don't think I do. They probably can't stand me. But 'cause I give them such a bad image or something like that, and I don't know. It's like, first of all, I don't think I'm that influential, but um, Quincy, he'll go on and he'll tell me about how my word has a lot of drive or something like that, and uh, or I don't know. My word has a lot of pull or something in the community. I'm like, I don't think so. Most people, for the most part, ignore me. Um, so I'll post on Train Sim. I won't get replies. It's normal. I'm okay with it. It's nice to have a nice little audience tonight. I'm glad I'm entertaining some people. That's always makes it interesting to do these live streams. And I don't do editing of videos that often. I don't do editing at all. But I'll have a small live stream tomorrow night, and then I'll show some of my footage sometime tomorrow evening. It won't be as long because my bedtime would be at least 11 o'clock. Gonna work the next day, so. But yeah, it's just like, wow, I'm really stretching out this last 5 minutes here. Um, but yeah, it's like that's why I lost my train of thought. I can appreciate just doing the developing recently and trying to get into the developing cycle. I can really understand how difficult it is. It doesn't matter if they got a team of six or whatever the hell they have. I don't know how many people are active in that team. It's like, but I can really come to appreciate them. Let me see. So I own Tane, Trains, Train Sim World, Train Sim World 2, Train Simulator, ATS, Open Rails. Bus Simulator is one that I thought about. Car Mechanic I never got into. I'm not really into car mechanics. I hear it's fun. I've never been mechanically inclined, so. But then again, I've never been a hunter or a fisherman either, and I still like those once in a while. Uh, well, that's okay. Yeah, car mechanic 2018. Oh yeah, I had farm simulator once, but it got boring. I don't know if I needed to give it more time or what, but Scott and I used to run that every now and then. Train Sim World. Um, Let me see about those. Tane I never had. I had an older version of that. Trains I definitely have 2019. Um, Train Sim World, don't have any of those. I was tempted. The eye candy's really good, but the playability and the some of the restrictions in it and the lack of any editors and activities and lack, just you don't have an editor. You can't go in and do something again and play it, and you can't have an evolving world. Run 8's really good. Run 8 is really the best when it comes to a world save situation. Trains does it pretty good too. Um, Trains, I think, where Trains beats Run 8 hands down is obviously the editor, and to be able to Trains has one of the biggest libraries out there. I think they'd be even bigger than Microsoft Train Simulator. Um, they just have this immersive community. It just keeps going. My son can find stuff all the time with that. He can find all the assets he needs and all whatever. I mean, and, if you're doing something prototype like I am and trying to find the perfect asset like the bridge, you're not going to find the exact asset, but you're going to find something pretty close. But so yeah, I wouldn't get myself. I wouldn't get Train Sim World. There's none of those I would get. ATS obviously, and I will continue to support them. I got away from it. ATS. It was kind of weird. We both Emma and I got away from it, and I don't know why it was. I think it was because because I was driving at work too, and I was spending more time. I didn't see him as much, so I had many nights where I'd spend hours at it, and I kind of burnt myself out. Whereas if you just run it for an hour or two a night, it's much more enjoyable, and then you learn the cruise control. Actually, the one thing with ATS is to be able to set the cruise controls and to be able to have the resume and just get a cruise control going, and it's much more relaxing. It's always easier to do the cruise controls, but to actually have the resume control and the increments. So every time you increment your cruise control, you can increment it by 5 miles an hour. So if you're coming in, you're in a 70 zone or whatever, and you're coming down to a 55 zone, I have it for the minus and plus keys on the keypad. I just hit the minus key 3 times, and boom. And if you want to get out of cruise, you just hit the brakes, just like a normal car. So it acts just like a cruise control, except the increments are much more manageable because they're in increments of 5, which pretty much give you any combination of the speed. As long as you're going over 20 miles an hour, you can reactivate or resume the. So I have the enter key on the keypad as the resume key. I set those up very recently, and I found that changed my experience much better because the only thing I find difficult in some areas is going through where there's a lot of twisty turns, and not so much in the mountains so much, but some of the highways, they're not as straight. I'm enjoying now that I'm getting into like I don't have I don't well, Texas is coming. I'm looking forward to that. I don't have Colorado yet. I don't have Colorado. I really got to end this. It's midnight. I don't have Colorado, and I don't have Utah. Those are the two, and I don't have and I don't have New Mexico. But I started running in Arizona a little bit, and then I finally, the last one I got was Idaho, and I was just like, oh, this is cool. And I'm like, Idaho, I really started appreciating it. I haven't been up in Idaho lately. I got a run right now that I'm heading up to Idaho, but I'm hanging around California, and even California they're improving right now. So they're always improving that game. I think they put a lot of work into it, and yeah, they charge, they charge enough money for each state or whatever. You just buy a state once in a while, and you put it on your Steam wish list, and maybe a bundle will come along if you're lucky, and then boom. Get what you want. You don't have to get everything, and I'm not in a rush to get Colorado and Utah, although those are the two I'm most interested in. I mean, all I got is Colorado, Utah. I think Colorado, Utah, and New Mexico is the only one I have. I have the entire West Coast, and I have Nevada, Arizona, and blah 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 Idaho now. So, well, that's cool. Yeah, and somebody told me the other day that New Mexico was one of the earliest ones, and to me, New Mexico didn't look that great. But then somebody told me the other day, oh no, you got to get New Mexico, you'd love it. I'm like, oh, okay. So maybe I will, because if I want to get to Texas, I need New Mexico, and Texas is going to be a good one. If it's the same price as the other ones, good for it. That'll be worth it. But yeah, I mean the some of the trips now, it's some pretty good sized trips. So now the scale's not bothering me as much because I'm making a lot more of these longer trips, and doing a lot of north south stuff, and some of it's repetitive, but I haven't explored I haven't found everything, and now I've got the I finally got a paint job on my trailer and my engine, or my engine, my trailer and my rig, engine, truck, whatever. I'm thinking train talk again, but yeah, and I got a few little goofy I bought a little add-on pack or something like that just came out not too long ago, and I don't know why I got it. It was only a few bucks, but it was fine. Gives you something to do, and I really haven't touched the mods. In fact, I haven't touched them at all. I was thinking about doing realistic economy, but for now I'm just like, nah, I like it the way it is. So, I'm not in realistic economy. I'm just going ahead. I'm close to either expanding my first garage from 3 to 5, or open up a second garage. I'm on a trip right now of dynamiting a 53-foot trailer, which is the first time I've had a 53-foot trailer for myself, and I have a bunch of chemical classes, so I was able to transport dynamite. And I was like, oh, this is cool, because I already have drivers that can transport dynamite, and they were making $8,000-9,000 of profit for me. And I thought, okay, well, if they're making $8,000-9,000 profit for me, I wonder what I can get. Because the last trailer I used was a milk trailer or something like that, or a juice trailer, and that wasn't giving me much. I'd be lucky to get $60,000 on a cross country. Yeah. Well, that's the only truck sim I have. I don't want it. I don't want it. And Run 8 was the only train simulator I had. Trains is still on my system. I could still use it. I got no major issues with trains. I can't get by the weaknesses of having my biggest letdown with trains is underneath. When you're building something, I'm okay with building something flat and putting some of the scenery objects on top. The problem is when you start raising things and you start changing any of the stuff that's underneath. If you're saving a world, I've always been the type we take a model railroad, for example, and you're operating the model railroad. This is how a typical model railroad club works. They're building scenery, they're doing whatever, or even anybody's model railroad, but they're operating it. So they have all the cars, and yeah, they might have to move some of the cars around because they gotta do some detailed scenery, or they don't want to mess up the models or anything like that. But they're able to operate it, and they're able to continue on their operating sessions and continue to run and operate while doing minimal construction and some scenery work and some track work and some expansion and all that other stuff. Trains doesn't work that well that way, because especially if you start raising or lowering and building features into the actual underneath. So in other words, you can't just raise the scenery, because you can. The problem is you raise everything else. Your save game is forget it. I don't know if it works exactly that way for everything, but I've seen issues, and I don't want to lose my world saves, especially if because what I would end up doing is I would expand my network as far as I possibly could and have it as much operational as would keep me going and interested in having enough AI trains to do their thing, and I'd have a full-fledged operation. Then I would be able to build onto it. So I just couldn't. Would I go back into trains again? Possibly. And the only reason why I would go back into trains again, say versus a Run 8, it's not that they're better than Run 8 or anything like that, but they still have the ability for me to do the editor where Run 8 doesn't. So as far as Run 8 version 3, I'm not interested in building roads either. I might be losing my live stream here because it's starting to, I don't know. Well, it says it's excellent condition, but I don't know why it's doing that. Anyways, I should cut it short. I'll just say this about if I'm still live here. I'm not sure if I am or not. It says I am. But Run 8 version 3. Let me just do this. Let's see what happens. Run 8 version, I'm not interested in doing in route editing either. I'm all for if Run 8 can just give me a small territory. They said they were going to do that a couple years ago. They said that I guess that's going to come with Run 8 version 3. They could be making money right now if all they do is just give a small territory that has some signals, a couple of industries, a small yard, and I'm not talking a short line. Just give something that allows the person like myself or a single player, or maybe a single player who might want to play with one or two multiplayers, to enjoy a railroad that is easy to manage. And that was the problem with Run 8. They just expanded like crazy, or they were always in the busiest areas, and if you did the work into trying to figure out what everything did, you realize how many trains. You realize, the Needle sub has 100 plus trains a day out there, and Northeast Corridor I think still has 60. Not Northeast, sorry. The Chicago line for the Northeast, not the Northeast Corridor, but has about 60 trains. The Southeast I think has about 60 to 80. When you add Waycross in there, yeah, it's about that with Waycross, I think, because you have all the freights that come off and across, and the ones that come through the various subs coming in. But Waycross alone, and I love Waycross. I love how the hump, but then it doesn't work very well. I found the hump had issues. The bigger the hump was, it had some type of memory issue or something, or it would miss hump and do all kinds of weird things. I don't know. Maybe it was my computer. I don't know, but it just something was buggy with it. But Run 8 version 3, for me, I don't care about the round tables. I mean, the movable bridges, okay, that's fine. I mean, yeah, it's cool. It's an eye candy thing, but does it really increase the playability? I don't know what else they have in mind. I don't know why they need a Run 8 version 3. I don't know what they need it for. They're very little on details as far as what they want to do. Here I am. I'm not even building in things. I'm spewing ideas left and right of what I want to do. They don't operate that way. I guess they think people are going to steal their ideas, or I don't know. But that's the way they operate it. Their business, but it doesn't really motivate people like myself, who was in the beginning and hasn't been supporting it for probably a year or two. I haven't done much. I haven't bought anything it's been about a year or two now that I've bought any add-ons. Maybe a little over a year. Probably about 2. It's probably close to 2 years now. And they've been talking about, they've had version 3 in development, I think, for at least 3 years now, or more. So, it is what it is. Okay, this is way getting too late. It's 12:12 a.m. So, I'm going to call it. I don't know who these other people are sitting on, but you don't have to be shy, but that's okay. I understand. Anyways, this is a long one, guys. Glad I did it. Glad, nice to talk to you, James. Scott, if you're still there, wake up from your nap. Quincy, I don't know where you are. You're probably gone. Anyways, have a good one, guys. We'll talk to you later.